Imagine having to survive 50 hours in a zombie apocalypse. You'll spawn in one of the 4 mysterious biomes. There's one problem. You're being hunted by a grave titan, ruler of undead. Can I put a stop to these ruthless creatures before it's too late? Stay tuned to find out. On hour 1, I spawned in and immediately saw something I'd never expected. Somebody help! My, what are they eating? I think that's a person. Okay, I gotta get out of here right now. I then turned around and ran as fast as I could in hopes of escaping these blood-hungry zombies. And after a few minutes of trailing through the forest, I was able to lose them. And if I wanted any chance of fighting off those zombies, I was gonna need to gather some wood and create some basic tools. And with a fresh set of tools, I decided now would be a good time to try and find some food. And a few minutes later, I found a few strange-looking pigs. Well, they're already infected by the zombie virus, so I might as well go ahead and take them out, and I wonder if I can even eat this meat. And after taking them out, I realized they dropped infected pork. Okay, that's strange, but it says cook to purify. Okay, well, I guess I can try that. I then went ahead and crafted up the furnace, placed some wood inside, and smelted up the infected pork. And once it finished cooking, I decided to risk it all and eat the cooked pork chop. Oh my gosh, that just replenished my entire hunger bar. Okay, this will definitely come in handy. I then spent the next little while gathering a bunch more wood until suddenly the ground started shaking.
I smell flesh.
What the heck even is that thing? It must have been talking about me. I should get out of here. And just as I was leaving, a bunch of zombies appeared in front of me. Using my axe, I ran in, was able to take down one of the zombies fairly easily. Although there was a bunch of them in front of me, they were very slow, so I was using that to my advantage. After a few more hits, I was able to take out the final one. And I figured it'd be in my best interest to make myself a shelter. Without wasting any time, I started right away on creating a small shelter. Using the materials I gathered earlier, this would hopefully provide enough protection throughout the evening. And now that I have a roof over my head, I made some charcoal and used that to make some torches. I then went around and lit up the entire exterior of my base. Once completed, my next objective was to dig all the way down in hopes of finding a cave. Eventually, after digging down, I ended up finding a decent-sized cave, so I decided to look around and see what I could find. After lighting up the entire cave, I decided to start mining some of the ores. I ended up finding a bunch of iron, some coal, and after creating my iron pickaxe, I was able to get some of these diamonds. And after mining these diamonds, I was able to create my first diamond pickaxe. I also was able to craft an iron helmet and a water bucket. Once I finished up in the mine, I had to climb about 10,000 stairs. This is gonna be painful. Oh well, it's gotta be done. As you guys can see, we have a decent amount of space around my shelter. However, one of my goals this video is to create an insane bunker that will hopefully be able to withstand the force of these vicious creatures. Stick around to the end to see what it looks like. After spending a century clearing out the forest, I was finally able to begin on the outline of my base. As you can see, this is gonna be a big project. In the evening, I gathered a bunch of seeds, that way I could make some wheat, and I wrapped up the night by taking out a few more of these infected pigs. In the morning, I cooked up the infected meat, and suddenly I heard,
Ooh, fresh meat, sir. You will perish.
And just like that, the fight against the zombified Arctic wolf began. After getting a nice hit, I turned around and saw a few more zombies running at me. These were no regular zombies. They were throwing poison balls at me, which actually did a lot of damage. As you can see, I got caught up in between a few of them and dropped down a lot of health. After eating one of the cooked pork chops, I realized it healed me back to full HP. It seems cooking the infected meat has a lot of benefits. Anyways, I went and hit the wolf a couple more times and was able to take him down. Okay, that was a close one. Is there anyone else around here? I think I got them all. After that event unfolded, I figured it'd be a good idea to go travel for another cave to get some more armor. After a little while of travel, I found myself in a desert biome and I found a very weird opening. What even is this place? After looking around a little, I found a mysterious book on the wall. I decided to take it off and see what it says.
It's been almost a day since everybody turned to monsters. Finally found a place to lay low. I could probably ride this out until help gets here.
It looks like this book was written by someone that must have lived here.
Been in this mine shaft for 3 days. I can hear them out there. I don't know if they can smell me or what, but it seems more and more showing up by the hour.
Interesting that he mentioned smell. If I recall correctly, that giant zombie I saw earlier mentioned he smelled flesh. I'm guessing these zombies have a very good sense of smell.
It's been almost a week. I can still hear them out there. Running low on food now. Don't think I could stay here for much longer. I'll leave this book here and maybe someday someone will find it. Bill Henry.
And while I was in the cave, I gathered some iron, coal, and some gold. After that, I went ahead and took the bed, and I found some candles that I'd take for decoration. On top of the candles, I ended up finding some brewing stands that were floating above, so I decided to take advantage of that and grab as many of those as I could too. Once I looted the entire cave, I decided it was time to head back home. Once I got home, using a lot of the supplies that I mined from the cave, I started working on building the exterior wall to my bunker. Make sure you stay to the end of the video because you're not going to want to miss what happens to my bunker. As you can see, I made some pretty good progress on the exterior wall. Hopefully once the entire wall is up, it'll help keep the zombies out. But for now, I want to go ahead and mine a bunch of grass. This grass will be used to create a wheat farm. After collecting the grass that I needed, I went ahead and started smoothing out an area for a future pathway, added in some gravel, and then went ahead and built my small wheat farm at the side of my house. The annoying thing was my water kept freezing, so I went ahead and added some torches above it, which prevented it from freezing. As you can see, we have a nice little wheat farm here, and what the heck are these? It seems after I created my wheat farm, I was surrounded by a bunch of zombie crows. Okay, come on, and oh my gosh, they actually do a lot of damage. I need to go in my house immediately. Not knowing what to do in this situation, I went ahead and hid in my house, and slowly but surely, I was able to get a lot of hits on them. As you could see, they continued flying into me, and I was able to get a few hits every single time. After gathering the courage, I made it back outside to try and take down some more of these zombie crows. As you could see, staying out here was very overwhelming, and I'm likely to die, so I decided it'd be in my best interest to stay inside. I noticed these zombie crows drop phantom membranes, so they must have been phantoms originally before they got turned. My strategy eventually worked, and I was able to take down the remaining zombie crows. After a stressful day, I decided to head to bed for the night. In the morning, I smelted up all the iron that I gathered from the cave, and went ahead and created the rest of my iron armor. On top of that, I also created myself a shield, so I'm gonna be a lot better equipped for a fight. And now that I was geared up, I figured it'd be a good opportunity to go exploring and see what else is out there. After traveling throughout the day, I found a town and my screen started shaking again.
That's the rat I've been smelling.
Now that I was geared up, I immediately ran in and got hit to half a heart. It was clear that this Grave Titan was way too strong for me to handle. After nearly dying, I was able to gain some distance and tried to find a spot to hide nearby. Now that I've gotten far away from him, I decided to try and hide behind this rock and see if I'd lose him. And just a couple minutes later, I saw the Grave Titan walking by.
Where are you?
As I went deeper into the cave, I saw a very strange spider. I was feeling pretty confident for this fight as I was full iron armor until he got a couple hits on me and took me down to half a heart. Okay, what the heck is that damage? Let me eat one of my cooked pork chops. And little did I know, these weren't the infected meat pork chops. These were quite literally normal pork chops, so it didn't even heal my health. Okay, you gotta be kidding me. I grabbed the wrong pork chops? Okay, we're gonna have to make do with this. Let's go ahead and eat another one of these to regenerate. My strategy was to regenerate health and try to kite him for as long as I can until I take him down. And after some more back and forth, I built a little wall and got one more hit on him, and I was finally able to take down that spider. Alright, that was a lot harder than I expected. Hopefully there's no more of those guys. I then smelted up the rest of my infected meat, and of course ran into another one of those spiders, which this one seemed to be a lot weaker, so I was able to take it down fairly easily. Okay, that was a lot easier than the first one, I'll tell you that. I also found a bunch more ores, including some more diamonds. As I continued exploring this cave, I saw what looked to be some sort of fox in the corner. I then built over as I didn't want the fox to fall in the lava. I then used my water buckets to make it over there, and the fox jumped into lava. Oh my gosh, he is definitely not the brightest tool in the shed, that's for sure. How the heck am I gonna get him out? Not knowing how I was gonna save him, suddenly he glitched up through the obsidian and he was still alive. Okay, little guy, you gave me a heart attack. Let's try not jumping in the lava, okay? Now just go ahead and follow me, okay? Oh, no, don't you even think about it. I then spread the water all over the lava, that way he can't hurt himself. Oh no, he just fell in again, buddy. Oh my goodness, you gotta stop going in the lava. You are quite literally a danger to yourself. And because this guy's a little bit of a danger to himself, I decided to craft up some fences because we're gonna trap him in a corner for now. And in case you guys were wondering, I decided to name him Dummy for, obvious reasons. And now that Dummy was no longer a danger to himself, I crafted up a diamond chestplate and a diamond axe. I then continued exploring this cave and I ran into these mysterious red flowers. When you right click it, it allows you to try and harvest it with a 50% chance. Unfortunately for my luck, the first two were a failed attempt. As I approached the third flower, Skull Bear text appeared at the top of my screen.
That cannot be good, and it's a success.
Upon picking it up, I found out it's an edible flower that can be eaten to restore health. After harvesting another flower, I continued cautiously into the cave. As I made it to the top, I noticed some sort of undead bear charging at me. I harvested one last flower and went in to attack. As you can see, this is no normal bear. It was definitely infected by that zombie virus.
Come on, we can do it. Okay, he actually hits really hard too. I'm glad we've got these grave blooms though.
As the fight continued, I was getting a little worried as I only had one more grave bloom left. I was able to get a couple more hits on the skull bear and I went ahead and ate my last cooked pork chop to heal me back up to full. I knew that it was now or never, and utilizing my shield, I was able to block some damage and take down the skull bear. After defeating him, it looks like he dropped a bunch more infected pork, which comes in handy because we just ate all of ours. I then gathered a bunch of the heads and made my way out of this creepy cave. I then spent a while mining a bunch more supplies, and before leaving, I wanted to go ahead and check up on Dummy, which he seemed to have dug himself in a hole.
Dummy, are you okay in there, buddy? Here, let me help you out of here, and let me go ahead and make this place dummy-proof as well, because who knows what kind of mischief you're gonna get yourself into. Alright, Dummy, well, since you are a zombie fox, I'm assuming you like infected meat. I'll leave you with that, and I'll come back for you in a little bit.
After an exhausting few hours in that cave, it was time to head home for a little bit. On hour 11, I made it back to my base, only to find a bunch of zombies waiting for me.
Oh my gosh, this is a lot of zombies. Okay, I guess we're gonna try and win this.
As you can see, I was completely surrounded by tons of zombies. And with a few more hits, I was able to take down that zombified Arctic wolf, but still had a ton more zombies to deal with.
Okay, the wolf is dead, but there's still so many. Okay, hopefully I can do this.
As you can see, I was making some pretty good progress on taking out all of these zombies. I was still being very cautious as I had used all my healing in the previous fight. And just when I had thought I had defeated all the zombies, I opened my door and my base exploded.
Oh my gosh. Okay, well, the good thing is it didn't do too much damage. Let's go ahead and put out these fires before it burns down my entire base.
And after putting out the remaining fires, I decided to continue working on the exterior wall. Thankfully, I still had a lot of supplies that I got from the cave. I was able to make quite a lot of progress on the exterior wall. As you can see, I even added a pathway that I'm going to be able to walk on once the wall's fully completed.
Okay, the exterior walls look really good. Hopefully that helps prevent a lot of the zombies from getting in here, but let's also go ahead and harvest these crops.
After harvesting, I then crafted up some bread and began my journey back over to the town that I found a little earlier. Along the way, I also found a little bit more grave blooms, so I'm going to be able to restore health if I ever need to. After a little bit more travel, I finally arrived back at the town. This town was very quiet and seemed abandoned, so I just started harvesting whatever I could from the chests. Upon looting the second chest, I was getting attacked. It seemed like this was some sort of ambush.
Oh, it's just a couple zombies. That'll be pretty easy.
And a couple seconds later, a couple zombies turned into a couple dozen zombies, and I was in a really bad position.
Okay, that is far too many zombies. There was no way I'm gonna be able to survive this. Okay, I need to get the heck out of here.
After running for a few more minutes, I only had a couple more zombie wolves on my tail, and I was able to lose them once I got in the water. And just to make matters worse, as soon as I got home, I saw fire and a giant hole in my wall.
Oh my gosh, that zombie is huge. Okay, well, let's start off by taking out this spider, because we all know how tough these things can be, and I'm gonna do my best not to get hit by that thing.
I tried going in for a couple more hits and nearly got taken out. I decided to back up and eat one of my golden apples to regenerate my health. With the couple extra hearts that I gained from the golden apple, I went for a few more hits and was able to finally take down the spider.
Okay, well, that's one of them. I still got a lot more stuff to deal with. Let's back up, eat a grave bloom.
And I went back in, trying to get a few more hits on the giant zombie without taking too much damage. I knew that if anyone was going to put a stop to the grave titan, it would be me. So with that in mind, I continued pushing and was able to take down majority of the zombies. After defeating the last zombie, it was just one-on-one, me versus the giant zombie. Utilizing my shield, I was able to block a lot of his damage and get the final hit to take him out. After taking taking out the giant zombie, I noticed he dropped 3 potions of zombie scent. Stick around to the end to see what we use these for.
Oh great, my shack is on fire again. I mean, at this point it doesn't really matter because I'm building a giant bunker, but man, I don't even know how it caught on fire this time.
Thankfully, they didn't do too much damage. I was able to repair this wall fairly easily. With these new potions of zombie scent, I decided to head back to the town and make use of them. Once arriving back at the town, I drank one of my zombie scents. Now that I smelled like a zombie, they wouldn't be able to know that I was here. I just had to avoid being seen.
Okay, I just gotta be very careful not to get seen. Thankfully they can't. Oh my gosh. Okay, we gotta. Oh my gosh, he's coming. Okay, I've gotta hide here.
As you can see, I quickly hid in the corner and watched 2 of the zombies walk right by me.
Oh my gosh, okay. I gotta get out of here.
I was able to just barely escape before they noticed me.
Okay, there's gotta be something that they're protecting here. There's so many zombies, for what?
I walked into a room with a chest and some brewing stands, so I decided to collect the brewing stands. And when I opened the chest, there was a bunch more infected meat and a zombification cure.
I knew that they were here protecting something. Okay, so we have a cure. Now we just gotta find the best way to use it.
With the cure in hand, I looked both ways and made it across to the other house to see if there was any more cures.
Alright, just some infected meat.
Not finding any more cures, I decided to get out of here before I pushed my luck. Now that I had the zombie cure, there was only one thing I wanted to do. But before we get into that, let's go ahead and smelt up the rest of our infected pork. And even though this is a temporary farm, I decided to expand it a little bit to get a little bit more food. After upgrading the farm, I went to sleep for the night. With a good night's rest, I headed out to go check on my good friend.
Tommy, it has been a little while. I hope you're doing okay. I actually brought you a little surprise. First things first, here's some cooked pork chops. That's probably tastes a little bit better than the infected meat. And you're gonna go ahead and drink that concoction.
Dummy then looked up at me and drank the zombification cure. And suddenly, he turned back into a normal fox.
Oh my gosh, wait, it actually worked. Dummy, I guess I probably won't need to call you that anymore because you're no longer a zombie. Well, hopefully you feel a lot better, buddy.
And just to my surprise, I found out a very short term later that he is still a dummy. He's running into basically every object. I don't know why. As we were traveling throughout the night, I saw what looked to be a giant moose in the distance. It then immediately turned around and ran away. I decided it'd be probably best if I leave it alone for now and maybe try to find it another time. Upon traveling back home, I came across a few more grave blooms and finally made it back to base, and for once it's not been infested by zombies. It looks like we're moving up in the world. And now that I was back at base and it was fairly peaceful, I took that as an opportunity to get a bunch more building work done on the exterior wall. As you can see, the walls are looking mighty tall, but now I had a problem. I had to try and find Dummy because I had no idea where he went and I needed to make sure he was safe.
Dummy, where are you? Wait, Dummy, are you stuck in a hole? Come on, buddy, you can get out of there. You can do it. There you go, buddy.
And now that we're rested up and the exterior walls are more or less done, I decided to head out with Dummy to see if we could find where that moose went. After spending most of the day with Dummy looking for the moose, I'd finally found him.
What information do you have for me?
It seems we've got a problem. There's someone out there trying to overthrow your rule, Grave Titan.
Okay, I'll handle it. Now get out of my sight.
Okay, that didn't sound very good. Dummy, we gotta go. The moose is coming. Dummy, he's going to see you. Move. Okay, there we go. Follow me, Dummy. Let's get out of here.
A few minutes later, Dummy and I came across some sort of swamp biome, so we decided to investigate. Inside the swamp biome, we found some sort of castle. Moments later, I saw a boss bar at the top of my screen, and when I turned around, I saw a giant zombified mammoth.
Dummy, get back here. I don't want you to get hurt.
Having a diamond chestplate and a diamond axe gave me the confidence that I needed. After fighting him for a little while, I realized that he could knock me up, so I grabbed a water bucket out of my inventory just in case. And just moments later, he knocked me all the way up into the air, and if I didn't have this water bucket, I probably would have died.
Okay, that was a little bit close. Come on, Dummy, we got this.
After running in and getting a few more hits on him, he ended up getting me to half health. So I quickly ran away and ate one of the cooked pork chops to regenerate my health. As we continued fighting, he knocked me all the way up into the air, and this time I missed my water bucket, landing on just half a heart.
Oh my gosh, okay, that was way too close. I cannot do that again.
As he was getting lower, he knocked me up super high one more time, but I was able to clutch it out. And after a couple more hits, we finally defeated the zombified mammoth.
Okay, that that was a little bit too close for comfort, but we did it.
As you can see, after we defeated the mammoth, it dropped a mammoth tusk that seems to do a lot of damage, so I guess we'll take that. We then continued making our way over to the castle. Eventually, we arrived at the castle only to find it was surrounded by a bunch of zombie archers.
Alright, let's test out this mammoth tusk. Wow, I do a lot of damage, but holy, those arrows hurt. Okay, dummy, we gotta get the heck out of here because we will literally die if we stay. Dummy, you gotta get over here, man. Those arrows will literally one-shot you, man. Get out of there.
Thankfully, Dummy eventually listened to me, and we were both able to escape by the skin of our teeth. Dummy and I eventually made it back to our base, and of course he fell in a hole.
Dummy, you think you'd learn by now you don't just jump into holes, buddy, okay? Come on, this is getting a little out of hand.
And I think it might be a good idea to make these stairs dummy-proof at some point as well, because he seems to struggle with some of the most easy things. I then harvested all the wheat from my farm, and while replanting my seeds, I saw that Dummy set himself on fire.
Dummy, you can't just stand in fire, buddy. Okay, you know what? I'm just gonna go ahead and put out all of these fires because he always finds a way to hurt himself.
So the next thing I wanted to do was go mining to get the rest of my diamond armor, because clearly we aren't strong enough to defeat a lot of these creatures. But of course I'm not gonna leave Dummy unsupervised, so I'm gonna quickly just go ahead and build him a hole. That way he can't get himself into any trouble.
Alright, Dummy, get in that hole, and you're gonna stay in there until I'm back from mining, buddy, alright? I'll be back soon.
And thanks to my wheat farm, I was able to make a bunch of bread, and then I started mining a bunch of ores. I got some gold, redstone, coal, and diamonds. I then went ahead and crafted up the rest of my diamond armor, and created myself another diamond pickaxe, as mine was just about broken.
Alright, well hopefully with this full diamond armor, those archers will do a lot less damage.
I then spent a bunch of time gathering a ton of other materials from the mine, that way I can continue upgrading my base. After returning home and depositing all my materials, I then headed out to find some animals that hopefully I can breed.
Alright, well here seems to be a bunch of zombified cows. Is wheat gonna even work on these guys? Let's see. Okay, there we go. It looks like wheat still works, so I will be able to lure them all back to my base.
Once I was back at base, I decided to make a fenced-in area that they'd live for now. And once the fenced-in area was completed, I tried luring in the final cows, but I'm not sure why. One of them was just completely ignoring me. So I took matters into my own hands. In the morning, I decided to try and breed all the zombified cows to see what would happen. And after a couple of minutes, I saw a baby cow. And one of the things I noticed after breeding the cows, it seems the baby cows are actually normal living cows. And after having 2 normal living cows, I decided it'd be probably best to take out the zombie cows because I do not want them hurting the normal cows.
And there we go, we don't gotta deal with any more zombie cows.
I then smelted up some more infected pork and decided it was time to let out Dummy. It seems Dummy was asleep, so I decided to let him get a little bit more sleep while my food smelted up. After all my food was smelted up, I decided to punch Dummy a couple times to wake him up.
Dummy, it's time to go, buddy. Let's get out of here. Oh, real quick, you're probably a little bit hungry, so take some of these pork chops.
And now that I'm a lot stronger with full diamond armor and the mammoth tusk, I wanted to head back to the town and defeat all of the zombies.
This is the town, but it looks a lot different now, like more reinforced. They must have found out that I took the cure.
Anyways, I charged directly into the town and started fighting some of the zombies. As you can see, I was way stronger now and was able to take down these zombies fairly easily. Another thing I noticed is this mammoth tusk did AoE damage, meaning I hit multiple mobs at once. Anyways, I backed up to eat a pork chop, restoring my HP back to full. I then went back in for a few more hits and I got overrun by quite a lot of zombies. Even though I was strong, I decided to play it safe and continue backing up while hitting. And with one last blow, I took out the Arctic zombified wolf and started taking down all the little zombies as well. After a couple more hits, I was able to take down the giant zombie and the remaining smaller zombies. And since the entire place seemed to be very protected and reinforced, I figured they must have added some more loot to the chests. I ended up finding a player head in one of them, which is kind of strange, but my eyes were set on finding a cure. I ended up finding some infected meat and a golden apple, and eventually I found another chest with another zombification cure. And little did I know, as I was raiding the town, the Grave Titan showed up to my base. He looked at Dummy and suddenly transformed him back into a zombie.
Alright, well we got another cure. We should probably head back to base and check on Dummy now.
When I got back to my base, I realized there was a massive hole in my base, and there was a ton more zombies inside.
How did this even happen? And where the heck is Dummy? First things first, I gotta take out these things with TNT because they look like they can do a lot of damage around here.
Utilizing my mammoth tusk, I was able to take down a bunch of the TNT zombies. And I went ahead and ate a golden apple to regenerate my health and defeat the remaining other zombies. After defeating the zombies, I started looking around everywhere in hopes of finding Dummy. I was checking in different holes in the ground because he normally gets stuck in those, but I was having no luck.
I really don't know what happened because Dummy never runs away. This cannot be good.
I then repaired the damages and then finished up the pathway on top of the exterior wall. And throughout the night into the next day, I started working on the interior of my bunker. As you can see, a lot of progress has been made on the interior, although I didn't want to spend too long here as Dummy was still missing. In preparation to go look for Dummy, I went ahead and smelted up the rest of my infected pork. Now that all my food was cooked, I decided to depart from my base and head back to that castle that I was too weak to fight at earlier, having hope that maybe Dummy would be there. With a lot better armor, I was able to sustain a lot of damage from the archers, and to give me enough confidence that I'd be able to defeat them all.
Alright, we should be able to do this. There we go. They do a lot less damage now, which is really good.
I continued pushing my way through into the entrance of the castle. Some of the zombies even had swords and shields, but they were no match for the damage that my mammoth tusk does. After battling out with the final zombie, I was able to defeat them all in the castle. As I walked in the next room, I saw somebody trapped in a cage.
Are you alright, man? You're locked in a cell.
What, me? Yeah, I'm alright. Can't you tell?
To be honest, you look like you could use some serious help, man.
Nah, I'll be okay. Nothing I've not dealt with before.
Here, let me help you out at the cage, and I also have some food for you.
If it makes you feel better, I'll accept your food, and I guess you can help me out of this cage. But this is just to make you feel better.
Okay then. Well, here you go, man. You're free. Alright? You're welcome.
Me and my new interesting friend are now gonna travel back to my base. That way he has a place to live that's not just a cage. And lucky for our friend without armor, we weren't attacked by any zombies on our way home. I then crafted up a brand new set of iron armor that we'd be able to give him.
Here, take this. It's gonna help you fend off those zombies just in case they get to you again.
I don't think you know who you're talking to here, bud. I'm way stronger than you. I'll take your gear, but only because mine broke. 'Cause I was too strong for it.
Okay, dude. Anyway, do you know anything about this Grave Titan guy that's been going around? I think he's the reason all this might be happening.
Nope, haven't seen him. But he'll be sorry if he ever runs into Chad the Great.
Chad, well, at least your name is fitting.
Chad told me he knew the location of some sort of boat with a lot of gear on it, so we decided to head out and see if we could find it.
That's weird. It's supposed to be right here. Maybe someone moved it.
Someone moved a shipwreck.
Yeah, is that so hard to believe? Whoa!
Suddenly, a giant monster dove straight out of the water.
Alright, finally something fun.
Chad, I do not think that's a good idea.
I got this. Shouldn't take me longer than 5 minutes.
As you could see, Chad was very confident that he could take down this Siren Jaw. But because Chad has a little bit of an ego, I decided I'd go in and help him because I don't want him to die. As you can see, as soon as I got close, it dove up in the air, knocking both of us really far back.
Where the heck did it just go? Did it just go in the ground? Oh, there it is.
Chad and I finally got close enough to get some damage on the Siren Jaw. It looked like this was actually a winnable fight, although it could have been avoided if Chad didn't have such a big ego. Anyways, I backed up to eat some more cooked pork chops to regenerate my health and tried to get a few more hits on him. As you can see, he was starting to get low, which is why he knocked us back once again.
Okay, I really wish I was a lot faster in water because he knocks me back so far away.
Anyways, after going back in with Chad, with just a few more hits, we were able to defeat the Siren Jaw. He ended up dropping a bunch of infected meat, which always comes in handy.
I didn't need your help. I had that all on my own.
I wasn't just gonna stand there and watch you fight.
And after a little bit more bickering from Chad, we ended up spawning the shipwreck just a little bit down the shore. Once we arrived at the shipwreck, we realized it was flooded with a bunch of zombies.
Okay, yep, that is a lot of zombies, but we should be able to take these down. It's clear that they're protecting something. Hopefully it's that armor that Chad was talking about.
As you can see, Chad and I were making pretty quick work of all of these zombies. And after just a few more hits, we were able to defeat the final few. We then looked around and we eventually found a double chest and it had a zombie shield.
Zombie shield, poison resistance 3. Okay, well, we'll take that and I guess we'll grab everything else.
We also decided to take advantage of the desert biome and gather a bunch of sand. And once we arrived back at base, I deposited the sand that we gathered, and I started working on building up the inner walls. Hopefully having multiple different layers of walls will really help prevent the zombies from getting in. And while I was working on the base, Chad came back with a bunch of zombie chickens. I then made a little pen and threw them all in there, and then I went to go cut down some trees as I had no more wood. And just before I started mining the tree, Chad approached me.
Why don't you try Chad the Great's axe? I think you'd be surprised. You can keep it too.
Alright, I'll give it a try. It looks like it's just a stone axe though. Alright, well, here we go. Wait, nothing happened. Oh my goodness! Okay, well that is a fast way to mine trees.
As you can see, Chad's axe came in handy. I was able to get tons and tons of supplies very easily. So I spent the remainder of hour 29 just going around my entire base, harvesting every single tree and getting tons and tons of wood. This was gonna come in handy because I still had a lot more building on my base I needed to do. After harvesting a bunch of wood, I was organizing my chest, and suddenly Chad ran in, being chased by an overwhelming amount of zombies.
Oh, where the heck did all these zombies come from? Alright, Chad, let's do this.
And just like that, their massive invasion begun. As you can see, Chad and I were getting overrun by tons of zombies. Not only were they the zombie warriors, but there was also some sort of zombie/skeleton that shoots fire arrows.
What the heck even is this thing? They do a lot of damage. Okay, we gotta watch out for these ones that shoot the fire arrows.
Just when I thought we were finally starting to make a dent, I got hit down to half a heart.
Okay, those zombies do a ton of damage. What is going on?
I ran back into the main part of the base to help out Chad. It looked like he had a ton of zombies on him as well. So when I thought we were starting to make a difference, I saw at the top of the screen there was a charred zombie skeleton leader.
That cannot be good. Where the heck is it?
And moments later, I walked out the front entrance and saw a giant skeleton. This has got to be the skeleton leader. As you can see, it does tons of damage. I got hit by just one arrow and it did 4 hearts.
All right, Chad, this is gonna be pretty hard. Not only do we have the skeleton leader, but we have all these zombies. Okay, let's try to take out the huge horde of zombies and then do as much damage as we can to the boss.
Chad was able to put a pretty big dent in the boss, but he was doing a lot of damage. The leader stayed in the corner, trying to keep his distance from us while he fired tons of arrows at us. Chad decided to distract most of the zombies, and while he was doing that, I went in for a couple more hits and was able to defeat the skeleton leader.
Okay, the leader's down. This has got to be the last of them. Let's just take these out and we'll be okay.
Chad and I ran around the base and made sure there was no more lingering zombies. As you can see, we got a really nice bow from killing the skeleton leader. Just when I thought we had defeated them all, I saw one in the distance, and he looked at us and ran away.
Chad, you stay here, guard the base. I'm gonna follow this zombie and see where it takes me. I'll talk to you soon.
After leaving Chad, I decided it'd be a good idea to follow the zombie and see where he ends up going. Maybe I can find some more information about the Grave Titan. After chasing the zombie for a while, it looks like some other zombies picked up on my scent. I ended up chasing the zombie in some sort of nether biome, and it looked like all these other zombies started dying.
Okay, that was a little strange. I've never seen zombies just randomly die, but maybe their weakness is the nether. I could use that to my advantage.
Although I lost track of the one zombie I was chasing, I did find a new territory, so I decided to explore the area. After a little exploring, I ended up finding a blaze spawner, a bunch of magma cubes, nether warts, and some soul sand.
Okay, talk about hitting a jackpot. I'm gonna be able to use all these supplies to brew a bunch of potions.
I then went around, defeated a bunch of the magma cubes to acquire magma cream. That I can use for brewing fire resistance potions. After that, I camped the blaze spawner to get as much blaze rods and experience as I could. Once I felt I had enough blaze rods, I went around the entire spot and gathered a bunch of soul sand and nether wart. I then had enough supplies to craft up some brewing stands. Now I'm actually going to be able to brew potions. As I didn't have any glass on hand, I got lucky and there was a desert biome directly next to this nether biome. After making myself a shovel, I then went around and gathered a ton of sand. I then smelted up the sand and used the nearby pond as my water source. Once the water bottles were in, I filled them all up with nether warts, and once they turned into awkward potions, I put blaze powder in to create some strength potions and magma cream to create some fire resistance potions. After I brewed up my potions, I continued exploring the nether to see what else I could find. I then came across something burning inside of a cage.
Wait, it's Dummy! Okay, I got you. I'm gonna break you out and you can drink this fire resistance potion.
It took Dummy a few seconds, but after a couple of tries, he finally figured out how to drink the fire resistance potion.
Alright, so the burning should have stopped now. You should be okay, Dummy. Just don't do it. Oh my goodness. Okay, well at least he has the fire resistance on because he probably would have died there. Dummy, where are you going, buddy? Dummy, where are you going?
Not sure where Dummy was going. I decided to follow him to make sure he'd be safe. I didn't want him to get into any more trouble. Where did he go? I mean, there looks like there's a big pit or something. He could have potentially fell down there. That's probably something he'd do. When I made it to the bottom, I saw what looked to be a giant demon.
Good luck surviving against this. Your friend will be stuck with me.
I then charged in at the demon and got some hits on him, but realized he did a ton of damage, and if I was gonna kill him, I'd need to drink my potions. So I drank my strength and fire resistance potions, and ate my final pork chop, which puts me in a pretty bad position. I charged back in and got a couple more hits on him, and quickly backed up and got some bow shots on him as well. And since I had no more food, I had to resort to eating rotten flesh for this fight. I kept my distance to get some bow shots on him, but he also had some sort of fireball ability. My plan was working. I was using the rotten flesh to regenerate my health, and then I'd run back in and get a little bit more damage every time.
Okay, let's keep regenerating and let's go back in. We should be able to take him out soon. Come on. Oh my god. Okay, 3 hearts. We really need to back up.
After bowing the Elder Demon a couple more times, I went back in for the final hit and was able to take him down. I then walked up to see what kind of loot he dropped and noticed I picked up his fire staff.
Okay, this thing is pretty awesome. This will definitely help take down the Grave Titan.
I then started smelting up some of my infected meat and figured Dummy could use some food as well, so I gave him some rotten flesh. Dummy and I finally arrived back at base and we saw a boss bar at the top of the screen.
Okay, this cannot be good. A Forest Bono boss? Oh wait, it looks like Chad's fighting him.
Dummy and I quickly ran in to help out Chad.
I kill little man.
As you can see, Forrest seemed to be a giant mutated creature. Seeing how he's likely another one of Grave Titan's minions, we had to take him out. Suddenly, he raised his arm up in the air and spawned in some zombie minions. As you can see, we continued fighting Forrest and he knocked me all the way back in the corner. I had to quickly eat food to regenerate my health and kited and used my fire staff to do some more damage.
Come on guys, keep up the pressure. He's almost dead.
Forrest then kicked me in the face, launching me all the way back. Anyways, after a little bit more back and forth, we were finally able to defeat Forrest.
Yes, we did it.
I don't feel so good.
What's wrong, Chad? I thought you were unkillable.
I thought I was, but I think I'm infected.
After finding out Chad was infected, I quickly put him in a room and took his weapons and armor. With Chad and Dummy both being infected by the zombie virus, I had to take a moment to think who I'd give my last zombification cure to.
Oh, this is a hard one, but I think I've made my decision. All right, Chad, well, here goes nothing. Go ahead and drink that, and hopefully it works.
After some pain, it looks like Chad is finally back.
Where am I? What do you mean? Was I gone?
Yeah, you kinda turned into a zombie, Chad.
Well, I find that very hard to believe. That doesn't sound like something I would do.
Chad then grabbed an axe and was able to mine out.
I don't know how you got that axe, seeing how I took your tools, but it's good to have you back, buddy.
We then went to a nearby cave, mined a bunch more different ores, and after gathering a bunch of ores, we gathered a bunch more supplies to continue working on our base. I knew with having Chad here helping me build, we'd be able to finish the remaining part of the bunker. So at first I had Chad working on the pathway at the bottom, while I continued working on the exterior wall. And real quick, if you're enjoying the video so far, make sure you subscribe to be a part of the team. And now that our bunker was completed, Chad went ahead and made all of his diamond armor, and I quickly went ahead and enchanted my weapon and all of my armor. And as we were enchanting, everything started shaking again. We went outside to see what the commotion was, and we saw the Grave Titan.
You're letting that little annoying creature follow you around. I made him into one of my own, but he's far too stupid to be of any use.
Keep Dummy's name out of your mouth. You stay here any longer, I'm gonna defeat you.
I bet you'd like that, but I'm far too busy to deal with the likes of you. I'll just feed you to one of my pets.
Suddenly it was daytime and a giant reaper spawned out of the ground. I immediately ran in and got hit down to 2.5 hearts.
Okay, what the heck is that damage, guys? We're gonna have to work together on this thing.
As you can see, we were making some pretty good progress, but he did a ton of damage, so I needed to play this very safe. This was definitely one of our hardest challenges yet, but because we were both in diamond armor, we were able to sustain a lot of damage. Anytime that I would get low, I would be able to back up and regenerate and use my fire staff from a distance.
Oh my gosh, okay, that was too close to eat this. Come on, guys, we can do this. There we go. Okay, that was a little too close for comfort again.
I checked in with Dummy after the fight, and it looks like he was fighting with his sword backwards, but we're not going to talk about it.
All right, Chad, I'm sick and tired of this Grave Titan. Are you ready to finally defeat him or what?
Come on, you know me. I was born ready.
I know, I was just checking.
Thanks, and thanks for turning me back into a human. Being a zombie sucked.
Wait, so you do remember?
Let's just leave it at thanks. I don't want you to think I'm some kind of weakling.
After my first pleasant conversation with Chad, it seems he's actually not all that bad of a guy. We then went out on our hunt to try and find the Grave Titan. On our journey, thankfully, I came across some more grave blooms.
Okay, cool. This is definitely gonna come in handy.
You made it. I thought you wouldn't be this stupid to try and defeat me.
We'll see who's stupid after I show you who's boss.
Chad, wait! We haven't even come up with a plan yet!
Chad ran in, and unfortunately, that's the last time I would ever see him.
What a worthless rat. You're next.
I knew that if Chad died, that I would stand no chance. I needed to run.
No, Chad! I gotta get out of here.
I eventually made it back to base with one goal in mind. Get strong enough to defeat the Grave Titan and avenge my friend. After gathering myself, I knew what I needed to do. After searching for a while, I finally made it back into the nether biome and I found some ancient debris.
Okay, we're definitely gonna need full netherite if we're gonna take this thing down.
So I continued mining a bunch of ancient debris, and while I was looking for some more, I ran into some more of the Grave Titan's minions.
Yeah, you guys are out of your mind if you think you're gonna defeat me.
And after running into a few more hordes and defeating all of them, I made it back to base.
Alright, that took a lot longer than expected, but I should have enough to make my full set of armor now.
I then smelted up all the ancient debris. I then went around and gathered a bunch of infected meat from the pigs. And now I had all the tools that I thought I'd need to take out the Grave Titan. There was one more trick I had up my sleeve though. And while I was looking, I ended up running into some fishing hut along this frozen lake. So I decided to check it out. When I opened up the chest, I ended up finding some different fish, and I found zombie serum.
Zombie serum? It says it cures zombification. What if I'm able to use this on the Grave Titan?
After traveling throughout the evening, I finally found him.
You've grown to be an infuriating thorn in my side.
Yeah, that's probably why they call me painful.
To make sure you know exactly how much you messed up, I brought my entire army to defeat you.
I was then swarmed by a ton of zombies, so I quickly ran up and took the high ground. Hoping that the high ground would give me the advantage, I started taking down some of them, but then I got hit all the way down to 1 heart.
Okay, there's far too many of these things, but I do have a plan.
As you can see, my plan was working. I led the remaining zombies into the nether area and they all died. After that, I drank my strength potion and used the zombie serum on the Grave Titan. I then went in for a couple hits and was able to do some decent damage, and I was able to block his first attack. I then used my bow and fireball ability and was able to do a decent amount of damage. Suddenly, he reached his arms out to the side and launched some sort of spirit souls at me. As you can see, I had to jump into lava to avoid that damage. After a little while, I was able to finally take him below half health, and I did my best to dodge all of his soul fires. I did my best to fight at a distance, utilizing my fireballs and bow. As I had the Grave Titan low enough, I knew it was almost time to use my zombie serum. As I had him low, I splashed the serum at him, and suddenly he transformed.
Where am I?
Wait, you're the person behind all of this.
The last thing I remember is something just bit me, and I don't really remember anything after that.
Sorry to interrupt, but what the heck is this? Some sort of portal?
With no insight of where this portal would take me, I stood inside of it and got teleported. As I was teleporting through the portal, I saw all the zombified animals turning back into their normal state.
Ow! Oh, wait. Where am I?
Lost in the middle of a mysterious jungle, our next journey will begin. I'd also like to give a special thanks to my friends over at MC Models. If you're interested in fighting any of these custom bosses, make sure you go check them out, linked in the description below. Also, if you made it this far in the video, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you, and I'll see you in the next one.